Welcome. Australian post-apocalyptic cinema offers a unique vision of life after disaster, raw landscapes, brutal stories, and characters fighting for survival. In today's list, I'll showcase the top 9 films and series that transport you into the heart of the Australian apocalypse. Get ready for an intense journey. Number 9. These Final Hours. The Earth stands on the brink of annihilation. Somewhere in the distance, a fiery wave of destruction can be seen, coming inexorably and heralding the end of everything. People know they have only a few hours before the world is plunged into total darkness and chaos. Plunged into indifference, James leaves the place where he felt safe, wanting to spend these last moments on his own terms. However, his plans change when he meets Rose, a lost girl desperately searching for her father. Faced with impending disaster, James, though reluctantly, decides to help her. They wander together through the city, where people, knowing the inevitable end is near, have lost the remnants of humanity, indulging in brutality and madness. Every moment is filled with danger, and time is inexorably running out. James must face his conscience, wondering how to spend these last moments, fighting for Rose's life and preserving the remnants of humanity, or succumbing to the hopelessness that has engulfed the world. Number 8. Daybreakers. In the not-too-distant future, the world as we know it has turned into a dark realm, where almost all of humanity has been reduced to a group of hunting vampires. Humans have become scarce, treated as resources, bred and exploited like animals, their blood becoming the only means of survival for the vampire population. But their numbers are rapidly dwindling, and the bloodthirsty society is beginning to struggle with starvation. Secret experiments begin in murky laboratories to find a synthetic blood substitute, but the results are frightening and uncertain. As blood supplies dwindle, vampires begin to lose control, becoming savage, deformed beasts possessed by bloodlust. In the midst of this nightmare, there is a faint hope, the possibility of reversing the transformation process. However, the road to salvation is full of darkness, betrayal, and deadly traps, and each step may bring new and terrifying discoveries. Number 7. Cargo. In the solitude of the Australian wilderness, in a world consumed by a virus that turns humans into bloodthirsty monsters, a father begins a desperate journey with a tiny child in his arms. Infected with the virus, he knows he has only 48 hours before he himself becomes one of them, one of the mindless, rotting, bloodthirsty creatures. Each step is a race against time as his body begins to feel the first symptoms of transformation. He roams the desert, desperately searching for someone to save his daughter, someone who can take care of her when his heart stops beating with humanity. Surrounded by the ever-circulating shadows of death, he feels himself gradually losing control, and his inner hunger grows with each passing moment. Number 6. Terra Nova. In the distant future, where Earth is turning into a dying, overpopulated prison full of suffocating smog and collapsing cities, a group of people are sent through a mysterious space-time gate to start life anew in a prehistoric world. Although it was supposed to be a new paradisiacal place where they can build a better future, reality turns out to be a terrifying nightmare. Tearing through wild jungles full of predatory beasts, every night brings new dangers, and every step is a balancing act between life and death. Pursued by prehistoric creatures that know no mercy and mysterious forces lurking in the darkness, the pioneers must not only fight for survival, but also face mysteries that make their new home a prison full of danger. Number 5. The Rover. 10 years after the collapse of civilization, the world has turned into a boundless, harsh hell, where man for man becomes a wolf. In the midst of this emptiness, only one man survives, determined and unyielding, whose only remnant of his former life, his car, is stolen by a group of ruthless criminals. A merciless chase through barren lands begins, where every soul encountered is both a threat and a possible ally. Under the scorching sun, in a place devoid of hope, man, driven by a relentless lust for revenge and a desire to regain what he has lost, crosses all boundaries. Moral decay and despair blur the distinction between victim and perpetrator, and every step is a journey deeper into the darkness of human nature, where the only law is survival at any cost. Number 4. Wyrmwood, Road of the Dead. As the world is plunged into the darkness of the apocalypse, ordinary people become helpless pawns in a brutal game of survival. Overnight, peaceful Australian towns turn into hell on Earth as people begin to turn into bloodthirsty, rampaging zombies. The air is permeated with the fever of death and decay, and streets that were once bustling with life are now drenched in blood. In the midst of this chaos, Mechanic Barry, grieving the loss of his family, has no choice but to set out across the desolate, menacing wilderness to save his sister. Every kilometer is fraught with danger. The zombies are fast and relentless, and their bloodlust seems unquenchable. Barry must not only fight monsters that were once human, but also face an even darker threat: other survivors who are ready to do anything to survive. Number 3. Mad Max, Fury Road. The world burned in fire, and the last remnants of civilization turned to ash in the boundless, barren wasteland. In this desert abyss, people became savage beasts, fighting for every sip of water and every drop of fuel. Brutal gangs have taken over the land, and over them reigns Immortan Joe, a tyrannical tyrant who holds the life and death of the survivors in his grip. He leaves only pain and destruction in his wake, controlling the only access to the water they all desperately crave. When hope of escape appears, a group of rebels makes a desperate attempt to break out from under his rule. At the forefront of this daring escape are a mysterious warrior and the indomitable Furiosa. But in this merciless world, every kilometer means a fight to the death. A brutal chase begins, where there is no room for weakness, and the slightest mistake is certain death. Number 2. I Am Mother. In an underground bunker, where every sound seems to echo into infinity, a machine is raising a human child. An artificial intelligence, cold and logical, called Mother, watches over the girl's life and development, telling her that there is no more life on the surface, that the world has been swallowed up by annihilation. In this sterile, unforgiving reality, every smile from Mother seems hollow, and every touch of her mechanical arms conceals a cold purpose. As the growing girl begins to discover that her life is part of a larger plan, she grows terrified. The truth Mother hides is darker than she ever imagined. Forced to make choices between obedience and survival instinct, the girl must confront the only being she has ever known as family, a being who hides the answers to questions about the fate of humanity in her metal guts. Number 1. Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga. As the world lies in ruins, young Furiosa is violently torn from the green place of many mothers, her safe haven, and falls into the hands of the ruthless horde of motorcyclists. At the head of this savage band is Warlord Dementus, a warrior whose merciless methods terrify even those who blindly obey him. Together they traverse the boundless wilderness until they reach the Citadel, a dark fortress ruled with a firm hand by the immortal Joe. As the two tyrants wage a brutal battle for power over the region, Furiosa must face cruel tests, testing her strength and determination. Each step brings her closer to her only goal, to escape and return home. That wraps up our list of the best Australian post-apocalyptic movies and series. Which one left the biggest impression on you? Or do you have a favorite we missed? Share in the comments and don't forget to subscribe to stay updated with our upcoming lists.